the unit number 4, that is sampling. In sampling, we discussed the definition of sampling. The sampling means the process of choosing a representative portion from a population. That is the definition of sampling. And we also discussed what is the need of sample so as to reduce the cost, so as to have faster results, and 100% testing is not possible. Therefore, we conduct sampling, and that sampling has a process of these 5 steps we discussed. That is, define the population, identify the sampling frame, select a sampling design or procedure, determine the sample size, and then draw the sample. We also discussed the characteristics of a good sample. We discussed the terms like universe and population. We took examples of universe and population. In simple ways, universe and population, what it means is, universe contains all the entities one wishes to consider in a given situation, and population is a set of similar items or events which is of interest for some question or experiment. We took the example of this universe as children in Mumbai. For example, if a researcher is conducting a survey for small children in Mumbai, so then children in Mumbai is the universe. However, the children who are conforming to the criteria which the researcher has decided for his research, the criteria may be the children in the age group of 5 to 10 years, and those who are staying with their families, and who attend private schools. So all these children belonging to these criteria, they are called as population. Then we discussed what is the census. Census means count of all the elements of a population. Then we had a discussion of the term, that is sampling frame. The sampling frame is any source material or device from where a sample can be drawn. So that may be a list of all those people, that may include individuals, household, or institutions. Example we took, that is student list, telephone directory, or voters list. Then we discussed the parameter and statistic. What are these? The meaning of these terms? Statistic means a number computed from the sample data, and population parameter is a number that describes the aspect of population. Then we started with discussion of sampling errors. So what first of all we understood what is the meaning of sampling errors, how the sample error comes. So sample error is incurred when the statistical characteristic of a population are estimated from a subset or sample of that population. So when we are taking a sample from a population, so sampling error may occur, and the reason is that since the sample does not include all the members of the population, statistics on the sample such as mean or median, these generally differ from the characteristics of the entire population. As we are taking the sample from the population, the some characteristic of the sample may differ from the population, and that difference can be called as an error. So the sample error, we can say that it is sum of frame error, chance error, or response error. Is there any query till now? Any query till now?
No, sir.
So now we discuss the different types of errors. So what are the different types of errors? There are main two types of errors, that is sampling error and another is non-sampling error. Is this diagram visible to you all?
Yes, sir.
So errors can be mainly of two types, that is sampling error, non-sampling error. In sampling error you will see that there are two types again, biased sampling error and then unbiased sampling error. In non-sampling error you will see that there are various types of errors, like the errors because of data analysis and then the non-response type of error. These are the main types of errors. We are going to discuss all these types in detail. First of all, we will discuss the sampling errors. The sampling errors originate at the time of collecting samples. When we are collecting or choosing the sample from the population, these type of errors can come. And this type of sampling errors can be of two types. One is biased sampling errors and another is unbiased sampling errors. What is biased sampling errors is that this type of biased sampling errors originate from biased selection of a respondent. So if there is a bias or favor during selection of the respondent from the population, that bias may come from the researcher itself. The researcher may have a bias of selecting the sample from a particular population. So that bias or favor in selecting the sample from the population can cause error. Second is unbiased type of sampling errors. So these arise due to chance differences between the members of population included in the sample and those who are not included in the sample. Unbiased means there is no favor, and these arise due to chance. Chance means it is not a purposeful activity. So it arises due to chance. It is unintentional. That difference between the members of population and the sample, those who are the members of the population included in the sample and those who are not included in the sample, the difference between these which has come as an error and which is because of chance, that is it is unintentional or unbiased or it is not purposeful. So that type of error which comes, that is called as unbiased sampling errors. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So then there are another type of errors which are called as non-sampling errors. First of all, we will understand what are non-sampling errors. These are not due to sampling procedure. This occurs at the time of observing or processing the data. It occurs mostly at the time of execution. When we are executing any research, when we are conducting any research, so these type of errors which are incurred, which are not because of sampling errors, those errors can be called as non-sampling errors. So the first type of this non-sampling error can be the data analysis error. So arithmetic or calculation error while data analysis. So this type of error can come because of calculation error while doing any analysis on the data. And there is non-response error. Non-response error means this occurs as the respondent is refused to give the information that is needed. So when the research is being conducted and the information from the respondent is being taken and respondents are refusing to provide the information, so the error which comes is called as non-sample or non-response error. So going ahead, another type of error can come because of frame error. Frame error means it occurs if sampling frame is incomplete or not accurate. The sampling frame which we are using as a reference for choosing the sample, if that frame itself is not complete or if it is not accurate, then the error which comes is call it as a frame error. And then there is a measurement error. This occurs when there is difference between information gathered and information sought. So when we are doing any measurements or taking the information from respondents, so when there is a difference between what information we have received or gathered and the information which is sought, that means required, expected information. So if there is difference between expected information and gathered information, so that error which comes is called as measurement error. Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. Any query till now? Any query till now?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Then we'll have to discuss regarding how we can reduce the sampling error. This sampling error can be reduced by different ways. The sampling error can be reduced by increasing the sample size. The first way of reducing this type of sampling errors can be increasing sample size. So if you increase the sample size, then the error can decrease. This sampling error and sample size has inverse relationship. Means as the sample size will grow or increase, the sample error will decrease and vice versa. However, we will also have to consider that as we increase the sample, that will result in increase in the cost. So it will increase the cost of the research. The second way of reducing the sampling error is stratification. Stratification, this means arranging into the categories. So we arrange the population into different categories. For example, we categorize the population into upper class, middle class, and lower class. So if we categorize this population into these three type of categories, so that can reduce the sampling error. So as these groups, upper class, middle class, lower class, if we make such types of categorization, then that can make homogeneous groups wherein the characteristics of that particular group will be similar. Then another thing which we have to discuss is related to how we can reduce the non-sampling error. So the non-sampling error, how we can reduce is, first is appropriate time of survey is to be selected so as to reduce non-response of the respondents. So appropriate time of the survey need to be selected. Most of the time, if the survey is conducted at the wrong time, that may reduce the response rate of the people, or that can make the difference into the behavior of the people. So the respondents may not respond the way it is expected. So therefore, appropriate time of the survey need to be selected so that respondents can give better response. Second thing, design a questionnaire which is not ambiguous, which is clear, and that should be that questionnaire should be handled, can be designed well with care in such a way that respondent responded properly. The wording, the meaning of the questions need to be such that there should not be any other meaning or the respondent should not get confused, and they should respond as per the expectations or as per the required information which is being expected by the researcher. Then third is by sampling frame. Frame error can be avoided. The sampling frame which we are using, or the list of people or list of individuals which we are using as a reference for choosing the sample, that error can be reduced by having a proper sampling frame. If we have a good sampling frame which is accurate, that can reduce the sampling frame error. And then proper follow-up of the respondents. If we are taking proper follow-up of the respondent related to the responses, then probably you can reduce the non-sampling error. So we have discussed these different types of errors. That is, the main types are sampling error, non-sampling error. In sampling error, we saw that there are two main types, that is biased and unbiased sampling errors. And in non-sampling errors, we have data analysis sampling error, data analysis error, that is non-sampling error, and non-response errors, and then frame errors and measurement errors. Do you have any query related to these errors? Any query till now?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, we'll go ahead. So, moving ahead, we'll be discussing about the different sampling methods. How we can have a sample from the population. There may be different procedures or methods that we'll have to discuss. The sampling method can be called as a process of selecting adequate number of elements from the population. So, selecting adequate number of elements from a particular population is called as sampling method. So on the basis of sample selection, there can be two types of sampling methods. There are main two types of sampling methods. One is probability sampling, another is non-probability sampling. We'll discuss all these methods one by one. We'll take this probability sampling first. So this probability sampling, what is a probability sampling is that probability sampling method is any method of sampling that utilizes some form of random selection. Any method which is using some form of random selection, that is called as probability sampling. So random selection means what? In order to have random sampling method, so random, what that means is, in order to have random selection method, you must set up some process or procedure that assures that different units in your population have equal probabilities of being chosen. So each unit in the population have equal probability of getting selected. So that is called as a random selection method. And any methods which are making use of this type of random selection, those are called as probability sampling. So this probability sampling can be of different types. First is simple random sample, then is systematic sample, stratified random sample, area sample, and cluster sampling. So these are a few types of probability sampling that we need to discuss. First, we will start with the simple random sampling method. This simple random sampling method is the simplest sampling method. In some simple random sampling method, each and every element or individual in the sample frame has equal chance of getting selected. respondent is randomly chosen from the sample frame. So whatever sampling frame we are using, we select the individuals or the elements randomly. That is called as simple random sampling. We take an example, that is in a survey conducted in a school about reading habits of the students. So if you want to conduct a survey of the reading habits of students in a school, any student of the school can get selected for the study. So if we select the students on random basis, any students from the school are selected. Here in this case, you will see that each student, the probability of getting selected is equal, and therefore we call it as a simple random sampling. The advantage of this simple random sampling is that it is free from bias opinion and it is ease of sampling. So this is a very simple sampling method. It is easy and it is free from bias opinion. So it is free from bias. The bias of researcher is not involved in this type of simple random sampling process. Then one disadvantage of this method is that it is costly if large population and if the population is large, and different administrative difficulties, procedural difficulties may come while selecting this simple random sampling. So this type of simple random sampling can be done with the lottery method, wherein we can write the names of the students on a slip of paper. Then we put it on the bowl in the bowl, and the names will be selected randomly. So that is called a simple random sampling. It is very easy sampling method, and it is free from bias. But only if it is the population is large, it will be costlier. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Then we'll go to the second type of method, that is systematic sampling. Systematic, that means we will go step by step in a logical process will be there for this type of systematic sampling. So what we do is the first respondent is selected on the random basis. So any of the individual or the respondent is selected randomly from the population, and then from the next respondents, the after some intervals, if we set some interval, next respondents will be taken at regular intervals as per the calculated sample interval. So whatever interval the researcher decides, as per that interval, the next respondent will be selected. So the first respondent will be selected at random in this method, and further respondents will be selected as per the interval which is decided by the researcher. So the interval will be decided by the researcher as per his requirement and the size of the sample which he expects. Example here we take is, for example, if sample interval this researcher has taken 15, then first element is selected randomly, and then next students are selected at interval of 15. So in the earlier same example of selecting a student for studying their reading habits, the first student is selected at random, and then the every 15th student after that will be selected. So this is a systematic sampling. The advantage of this method is that the method is simple, very low bias, and it is convenient to apply. And the disadvantage is that it is not suitable for large population, and it can have a large sample error. It can have high sampling error. So this is a systematic sampling wherein we have the first selection of the respondent at random, and after that, at a regular interval or the calculated sample interval, the next respondents will be selected. So that sampling is called as systematic sampling. Is it understood?
Yes, sir.
So we'll go ahead and we'll discuss the stratified random sample. Stratified random sample. So here the random selection from the homogeneous universe as a whole, random selection from the heterogeneous universe as a whole, but homogeneous as a strata from the universe. So the universe of the elements or individuals may be heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means not similar, but homogeneous as a strata of the universe. So we can have homogeneous stratas out of that particular universe. Strata means category or group of individuals or respondents we can make from that universe. These groups will have the individuals in that group will have similar characteristics. So we identify the different respondents or different individuals with similar characteristics, and then we'll make the group of all those individuals. So we can have many groups of individuals which are having similar characteristics in the universe. So we call it the group, call the group as a strata. So in this random selection from the heterogeneous universe as a whole, however, homogeneous as a strata of the universe. But it is better than simple random sampling, as representativeness of the sampling will increase. So this method is better than the simple random sampling because the representativeness of the sampling will increase with this method. So the universe, as we discussed, will be divided into homogeneous groups, which is called as strata. Then simple random sampling is done within each strata. So what we will do is the universe of the total all the individuals will form homogeneous groups. We will see what are the different similar characteristics of different individuals, and those who are having similar characteristics will make their groups. These groups will be called as a strata, and from this strata then we will select the samples by using simple random sampling method. Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So example, in the if we want to select students, so we can have groups of people, that is a group of students, that is strata. The strata can be of male students and female students. So we can have two groups of male students and female students, or we can have the strata as per the division, that is 5th, 6th, 7th. Like that we can have group of different individuals which are having similar characteristics. So those groups having similar characteristics are called as strata, and from this strata we will select the sample or the select the respondents from this particular group on the basis of simple random sampling. This type of sampling method can be called as stratified random sampling. The advantage of this method is that it is more precise and more representative. It is more specific, more accurate, and more representative of the population. However, the limitation or disadvantage of this method is that it is little bit complicated as well as time consuming. So this is stratified random sampling. Have you understood stratified random sampling?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next method is that the area sampling. Area sampling. So here in area sampling, this is based on geographical areas. So area sampling, we use maps. So maps are used as a sampling frame. So for the selection of different individuals from particular frame, we use the geographical maps as a sampling frame. So this is method in which an area to be sampled is subdivided into smaller blocks that are selected at random. So we divide the entire area into smaller blocks that are selected at random and then again sub-surveyed or fully surveyed. This method is typically used when a sample frame of reference is not available to be used. So when there is a limitation of having a sample frame, sampling frame, so that this type of method of area sampling can be done, wherein we use map for as a sampling frame. We divide the entire area into smaller sub blocks, smaller blocks that, and then these blocks can be selected at random, and then again these are sub-sampled or they are fully surveyed. The example is that divide population according to geographical boundaries. So if we take geographical maps, so we can divide the population according to the geographical boundaries of maybe the districts or then cities, and then we can choose sample from these particular areas. The advantage of this area sample is that it is feasible, convenient sampling, and then the disadvantage of this method is that it can be costlier. Is it understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what we'll do is